go, so go.
Fabio Gringo's in the house. Straight out of Hialeah, no doubt. East 10th Street, where we play out. Here we bring the Miami crowd. Alex, the boy with the D. Step into rhythm, feel the heat. Street vibes mixing with the Latin tree. In our flow, the two worlds meet. East 10th Street boys, bring the party, bring the noise from Hialeah with some joy, Miami flavor.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of East 10th Street Boys Straight Out of Hialeah. I'm Bobby Melendez, joined always by my brother, AJ Atia. We didn't do the normal intro. I just thought I'd let this run because I just love that song, and we just roll right in since it's a late night edition, Friday edition. Usually we do it Wednesday night, but we've just been busy. So it's like, hey, man, let's do this Friday. And just getting over it. I know I got to go live on Instagram. I know. Got the
Don't you just love the background producers telling you what you're forgetting to do while you're starting the show? It's awesome.
She's like, start the show already.
Yeah.
You're go live.
Hey, you started it wrong again. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't put the music. What are you doing?
Actually, I'm not gonna. I don't know. Let's take a vote
up,
from
brother?
the fans. I actually like that new intro, bro. That you just did, the purple leaves. That shit is dope, man.
It's clean, right?
Oh man,
that's supposed to be the pre-intro, like the intro before the intro.
I love it. I love it.
I let it just run. I said, let me just play this out because we're just gonna get the ball rolling here. Happy to be sitting with my brother. I've been looking forward to this. I haven't talked to you all week, and it's a crazy week. But so we're just sitting here, gonna shoot the shit, talking Dolphins, talking Heat, talking Miami, talking life. Halloween was yesterday. That was a lot of fun. The new intro is fire, isn't it? Isn't it?
I genuinely believe, and like I said, I think we should do a poll. I love, obviously, Sweet Home Hialeah hits our heart. It's our hometown. We got the shots, but that intro is just so cool and smooth, man.
I just love it. I just love the music. Bro. I just love everything.
It's perfect.
Hey, first of all, Will is in the house, 305 Sports Now. What's up, my brother? Great to see you. Guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, obviously for FTSN, but go over to 305 Sports Now. Check out his stuff. He had a great show yesterday with Corey of Chalupa Batman talking UM and, of course, the undefeated Miami Hurricanes. Great show there and great stuff. Looking forward to starting our Panthers show eventually down the line. I think we got a month out. We'll get that rolling out. But before then, we got a lot to talk about. The trade deadline for the NFL is around the corner. You got it on Tuesday afternoon. Will the Dolphins be involved? Will the Dolphins be sellers, buyers, or just stand still? I am here at the end.
Am I here?
We just got here.
We just started.
We just started, Josh. How you doing, brother? Great to see you, my man. Josh Wingate, co-host of On the Clock NFL Draft Show. I'm so excited about starting that down the line. We got, especially if the Dolphins just continue this trend. They continue this trend towards a top 5 pick. There's a lot to talk about in regards of the NFL draft. But talking the NFL trade deadline, does Miami sit still? Is there any surprise trades that could go down? Of course, NBA season just started, but we're already talking about trades. Jimmy Butler to Golden State, Giannis to the Miami Heat. What the hell is going on in Miami? And then, of course, like I said, well, we're going to do some weird facts, but I want to talk about the Halloween. That was last night. It was a nice Halloween. It always is. Of course, as some of you all know, I live in outside Nashville and Franklin. They always do it up. The cops block the streets. People, they put on the fog machines. It fogs up the entire street. People, there's a if you ever been to Disney World
downtown Franklin. Oh, that's cool.
First off, the only issue is usually it's cold. Usually the temperature is low, and so it's kind of chilly out. But it's still nice. It's calm. Yesterday that was raining. It was raining off and on. So we had the umbrella out. We didn't want to, so we got the kids dressed. But either way, we were soaking wet. Tristan jumped in a puddle with his costume. It was like, dude, Other than that, it was a lot of fun. It's the street leading to downtown Franklin. So Main Street.
Yeah, the main street.
So you take downtown Franklin to Main Street to my house. That whole street of those nice houses. They all come down and they decorate the houses.
Oh man, and so that is perfect.
It's a true.
Those are like old colonial homes which look spooky. Yeah. That's awesome,
dude,
man.
It's like a true Halloween feel. Like a Halloween feel. Like if you were to watch the Halloween movies with Michael Myers when all the people are
it's legit, bro. Those neighbors look like
it's the legit house. There's one house they do up every year, and it's always a blast to see. Is the Haunted Mansion from Disney World house. They got the
Oh
exact
shit.
replicas
Okay.
and everything. They
Okay.
play the music.
Okay.
You know, and the cops are awesome. They blocked the street off so kids could run in the street and everything. Ellie was awesome. She was,
She enjoyed it.
Yeah,
She
this was
enjoyed
her
it?
second year doing it. You know,
Okay.
her second year doing it. But this year she was a lot. You know, she was into it. Like she was
It's-
walking
yeah,
around trick or
yeah.
treat. You know,
Yeah.
she was dressed as Pikachu. You know, got the red cheeks and all that. And
That's awesome.
she saw Santa Claus, which was really cool because one guy does his house every year is Santa. He's Santa
For
Claus.
Halloween.
Every year,
That's a cool concept. That's a pretty cool. That's an interesting concept.
His line is always like almost like around the block. There's a corner as you can see that line kind of wrapping up.
Yeah,
I think because the weather was raining and everything, it was more like there was no line. It was the first time we walked right up to the door, and
that's cool.
You know, there was a Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice did pop around the corner and said hello. It was the first time I ever saw any kind of scary guy around. He wasn't scary, obviously, but
yeah,
you know, everyone's dressed up in North Pole gear. He's dressed up. He takes pictures with the kids. One of the coolest guys and one of the staples in downtown Franklin when it comes to Halloween is
that's a great idea. I never thought about dressing as Santa Claus
and he's dressed. You know, he has the beard and everything. That's legit.
Crazy. That's his legit look.
Always, yeah. That's his legit look.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been doing it ever since we've been here. So he was awesome. It was a great Halloween. Tristan dressed up as Sonic the Hedgehog. Audrey dressed up as Red, I believe, from Descendants, and Ellie was Pikachu. What did your kids dress up as? What did you guys do for Halloween, man?
Oh, my daughter was the Enchanted. Oh my god, what was from the movie? Oh my god, I blanked out on the movie. Dude, AJ. Let me see if she responds. In the meantime, my son was Eminem. Well, for school he was Deadpool because him and his best friend wanted to go as Wolverine and Deadpool. So obviously, but you can't wear mask, and you can't take swords. So it was like half a Deadpool. I always kind of tell them like my mindset was like Deadpool during like breaks on the film when they were taking breaks. They were just hanging on the set, and then he's just that Deadpool that takes out the mask, just chilling on set. But him and his friend were Wolverine and Deadpool, and then at night, he turned into Eminem, but 90s Eminem, baggy pants, kind of showing up with your underwear. He had the chain, he had the earrings, he had the hat with a little bandana. So it was like legit. If anybody Googles 1990s Eminem, it was him, even with the blonde hair and shit. So it was pretty funny. But my daughter was a witch. Oh my god, I'm gonna beat myself up until I get this name. Hold on, let me message my secretary, aka wife. What was AJ's costume? Yes, thank you. Enchantress from Suicide Squad. Thank you. Appreciate it, Tatiana. You see, she just picked it up. Or Jamila text her, type this up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was something like that. Yes.
Squad. There you go.
It was.
All right.
Enchantress. Yeah. And she did great. My daughter goes all out with like legit. Whenever she's getting ready for Halloween is when she's locked in the bathroom for like an hour, 2 hours. And it's just she legit did all the makeup, all the writing herself. Like she genuinely goes all out. But then since it's a lot of like black it looks like chalk, like just chalk all over your hands. Legit, as we're walking out our house, I see all my wall sockets and all the switches full of chalk, and I'm like,
stop touching, bro. Just keep your hands to yourself.
Just go, man. Just go.
Tell me what you want me to do. I went to her Instagram. There you go.
Oh, there you go. That usually is the answer to every question.
I did see Instagram. I did see a picture with I think her significant other.
Yes, her boyfriend.
I saw that part.
You can say her boyfriend. You can say her boyfriend.
Tabitha's the same way. Tabitha got a boyfriend now, and that's still kind of tough. It's like damn, Tabitha like the happiest Halloweens. If she take a picture, God bless her.
You see that, right?
No, it's like damn, dude.
They're happy Halloween when you no longer appear in their pictures because it's the other person.
But it was cool, man. Halloween is always fun. Now we go into Thanksgiving, which is the best food ever. And then we get into Christmas, which is I just love the magic. I just love the music. I love everything about Christmas.
These are my favorite sequence of months. When November hits, that's when for some reason, you just feel different. I don't know. Oh, well, for you, it's the weather. I can't say that because it's a little bit cooler here in Miami at nights. It's in the 70s sometimes. But I've always wanted to experience a few months of like as it gets colder around the holiday season, because that's my favorite. November to January are my favorite months of the year, because it's also, and I know, for example, not to bring us down, but it is a moment where you start recollecting a lot of family time, a lot of family members that we've lost. I know, obviously, you lost Ralph recently. So it's a lot of times that you start reliving and remembering those moments, and you share it. And it's true. I even see it in my parents. They get a little bit more down at times because you start reminiscing a lot of moments in life, especially as you get older. And I'm not saying we're old, but we're creeping up in that age bracket where we're more melancholic about certain things here and there. Yes, nostalgia. That's the perfect word. Thank you, Tati.
Absolutely. No, it's all good points, and it's true. No, we're not old, but now we're getting to the age where
Yes,
people are coming and going. Where you go, damn, dude. And
yeah,
it's life. But let's.
yeah.
Alex always has to bring down the mood. That's what he does.
I don't know.
Why?
Come on, man. I just
That's why I'm his only friend now.
Prelude, I'm his only friend.
Alex is the Debbie Downer. It's like, dude, what a beautiful day it is. But it might rain tonight. Alex,
that's some bullshit.
Thank God we're all healthy. Yeah, bro, but you got diabetes. What?
Yeah.
Alex,
what the fuck?
You might get it. What
you might.
Shut up,
Alex.
I'm
just pre-warning you, bro.
I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday. Yeah, but you start to remember the people who died. Like God, dude, what? God damn, Alex, shut the fuck.
You just on the corner. You're like, my therapist told me not to talk about it. My therapist told me not to talk about it anymore. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Tati, would you like some sausage? Yes, it does.
Oh,
it does,
here we
Tati.
go, bro. Tati's going to add to it now.
Boom.
Yes.
Boom.
Yeah. Every Christmas, I get closer to death. We all know we're all getting closer.
Jesus
Every
Christ.
Christmas, one day. Harrison told me today. He goes. Harrison told me today on the phone. Who drinks water?
To make sure I stay
water like that.
Well, I'm telling you, bro. I'm focused, man. You see? Yeah. Hey, what's up? It's like a cigarette on the side. It's a big joke.
Oh, you in Orlando? There you go. Oh, what's up, Miami Heat Zone? Great to see you, brother. Thank you for coming on, my man. Thank you for coming on.
We got to invite you. Sure.
We'll set it up.
We'll set it up,
man.
Man.
We'll figure it out. No, but Harrison said earlier, he said to me, I got tears, Mike, because he made me laugh, dude. That's just anyway, like, what the hell is it?
Hey, but, focus at all times, bro. Focus at all times, man. I don't lose eyesight.
Don't worry, bro. You'll be the first one to see him. I'm like, God dang, dude.
Whoa.
I'm like, who says this? But anyway, let's get into it, because Miami Heat Zone's in the house, guys. Go check out their channel there. Go like and subscribe. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. But yeah, let's talk about it, man. So you got crazy. The season I wanted to talk Dolphins, but because it's been so, all of a sudden the Heat are just getting thrown up in there right away. The season just started. You think we just be able to let the season kind of play out at first, kind of see how it goes? Like Bam Adebayo's kind of been underwhelming a little bit 4 games in. It's still very early. I understand it. I did see an article. I didn't read it. I saw the header on there, and I meant to open it up. And that's something you and I have talked about, and that's why I saved it so I could read it. Was this 4-game stretch, 2-2 on the season, Bam Adebayo being a little too passive. We talked about him being showing his growth this offseason offensively. Obviously, that hasn't been the case. I'm going to look forward to reading that, but that's something that we've discussed as an issue with him going forward. In regards of any, and I have not seen that, but I will love to throw it out there. His name is not in any trade thing. That shouldn't be in any trade rumors. Jimmy is, because of the contract situation. And of course, if the Heat, we talked about this, if for whatever reason, by the deadline, if the Heat are totally out of the radar, which they won't be, I could see Jimmy possibly being moved to kind of just go ahead and let's start fresh. I could see it before you don't want to lose him for nothing, even though he's shown his commitment. Pat Riley has shown or has said out loud, we'd like to kind of figure this out and work this out. The name that's coming up for Jimmy Butler, which makes a lot of sense just because of what they've lost this offseason, is the Golden State Warriors. So that's an intriguing name. And obviously, if the Warriors are somehow, some way in it, in a West that seems to be very tight, and by that we figure will be tight towards the end of the season, regardless of how many competitive teams there are going to be. If somehow Steph Curry is in the thick of it with those guys, I could see the Golden State Warriors looking at a player like a Jimmy Butler or another player that's a star caliber player to say, hey, maybe this guy could get us over that hump or get us in the conversation during the playoffs. Before we get into the Giannis conversation, which of course, as soon as I saw it, I thought of The Godfather. I thought of Grand Theft Auto when they go, here we go again. But The Godfather is like, even when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. And we're going to start this whole damn thing over again.
Yeah.
Before we get into that noise, let's get into Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
The Heat are only 4-4. We all understand that. It's very early in the season. I cannot see any kind of way, formation, anything you could tell me the Heat would ever make any kind of move this early on. But let's say trade deadline, it happens. What are your thoughts on that, on this rumor? Do you think that it's likely? Do you see it happening to a team like the Warriors? And if it did happen, what would you demand of the Warriors?
Well, I generally don't see it happening, like you mentioned. I know we're 4 games in. We're 2-2, 500. We have, honestly, our play has surprised me a little bit offensive and most likely defensively. I saw the slippage defensively in the preseason, and it kind of leaked onto the regular season. And in regards to a team changing their offensive philosophy or tinkering with their offensive philosophy, you do want to see Bam be a little bit more assertive, because in the preseason, he was shooting in rhythm, trailing 3-pointers at the top of the key regularly. And he was making them at a 50% rate, 40-something% rate, which is acceptable. It opens up your offense. It opens up the lanes. He's been more passive when the regular season starts. Jimmy has taking games off. It kind of seems optically that Jimmy is even fighting the style of play. I don't believe he necessarily is on purpose, but you can make offensive adjustments and not have Bam and Jimmy as part of it, where there's a lot of fault. I would say 50-50 falls on Spo and the coaching staff, because I see myself and I put myself in that position. And I'm guilty at certain points at times, even during the course of the games, there's a minute detail that you might overlook. And then in hindsight, you take a look back at film and you're like, oh, shit, how did I not pick up of that at the moment? But it's a learning moment and you continue. The Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier backcourt, I love. I don't believe Terry Rozier's usage is going to be that high, because I believe ideally for this team to succeed, he needs to have a similar style of game as Tyler does. But Terry is one of the shiftiest, quickest guys in the league. He can get to the basket at any given moment, at any and precise situations, in tenuous situations, in stressful situations. He can get you a bucket. I can live with that. But it seems to me that the team is not playing offensively the way they played in the preseason. And that surprised me a bit. Jimmy's situation, I don't foresee him being traded unless he requests a trade privately. And even if he does request a trade, it's not going to be in public knowledge. Bernie Lee, his agent, and Jimmy have too much respect for the organization and vice versa. So if it gets to a point where his name comes up, I'm pretty sure they're going to speak to him directly. The Warriors situation, ironically, I don't see it being a good fit, because ideally, if he's going to the Warriors, remember over the summer I talked about Jimmy's role changing in Miami as he got older and his game evolving to the certain point where he was more of a jump shooter and focused defensively. That's what he will be over there in Golden State. Golden State has unleashed Buddy Hield. They have Pods, the lefty shooting guard. Golden State right now is #1 net rating. They have, I believe, the #1 offense or the #2 offense and the #3 defense in the NBA. They're playing their best basketball. And Kerr has never had this much depth. And he's using 11 to 12 guys, which is the epitome for me. He's using his talent. Draymond Green looks rejuvenated. Kuminga, that's the situation here. Kuminga did not agree to an extension. So, of course, if there's going to be any move, and I believe even before they look at Jimmy, essentially, it's kind of funny Giannis rumors are coming out now, because we saw the writing on the wall. Remember last year when they traded for Dame, and sometimes the trades that we don't make is a blessing in disguise. The only way, and I remember mentioning this vividly about the aging roster, the aging counterparts, especially with the younger teams in the East. Look at the way Cleveland is playing. Look at the way Orlando's playing. I know they lost Paolo, but the guys will develop. The Silva's not even playing, another 6'9" scoring option. So the way the league is going, Milwaukee was aging itself out. So the only way a team in that situation with no draft picks, the only way they can rebuild is trading their marquee player and getting all the draft pick and all the assets. For Miami situation, that is when you finally trade the Tyler Hero. That is when you look into probably trading Jovic. They might ask for Jaques. They're looking at Pell Larson. They want to ask for Ware, but that's when you start negotiating. Do I see Jimmy being moved? I don't. If he is moved, I will be more intrigued. For example, Houston, he's going back home, or maybe even the Clippers. I doubt that he goes to the Warriors in regards to role, because Jimmy needs to be in an offense where he has the ball at a certain usage percentage to him to be productive. If he plays off the ball and high pick and roll situations with him and Terry, him and Bam 2-man game, he's productive. And even as he ages, his game could age gracefully if he changes and adapts to his role. So right now, the struggles that I see, and I've been able to see only 2 games. I saw 1 win and I saw 1 loss from start to finish. It seems to be a role uncomfortable roles that you're getting to the point where it's just reps, that you have to have reps. What surprises me is that they seem to be comfortable in the preseason playing this style, playing the role. So I don't know what changed when the season started internally. I know what they see, what I see from the outside looking in. I know people are going to ask for Pele. I know people are going to ask for Ware. We all know Spo, the way he operates. They're not going to play right now. Kevin Love is out for personal reasons. I don't know if it's a family situation or whatnot. But obviously the team's not going to disclose that. I believe Thomas Bryant is playing because K-Love is out. When K-Love is back in the rotation, you might see him be in the backup 5. However, mid-season, I do fully expect we might make some moves, and here's when you start realizing that we might have moved Robinson. We might have moved some pieces, like a consolidated trade to free up our young guys and actually be able to play them. But I do believe Pele is going to be the first out of the rookies. This turnaround, he's going to be the first rotational player. I do believe Jaques' responsibilities will increase. I want Jaques more on the ball. Josh Richards is about to come back. So you got to give this team around 15 games. Spo is still figuring out the rotations, and you kind of saw it. I think the way you stagger the rotations, and Jovic, Jaques, and Bam, and they need to play together. Right now, he's not running Jovic as much with the backups. He's putting Jimmy with the Jaques and all that. I understand Jaques is going to close a lot, but when you play Jimmy and Jaques together, they kind of X each other out in certain roles, in certain rotations. So I do expect them to tinker a little bit with Jovic and Jaques and Robinson and Hero and pushing the pace a little bit more. So fans, I know we say this every year, but this year I'm actually intrigued because the offense did change in the offseason, and they're leaning more towards their talent. They're not trying to force something. It looks a little bit out of whack, but the way Hero has been playing off the ball, the way Terry has been playing, I'm intrigued by our backcourt, and we just got to get the ball rolling when Bam and Jimmy, I want to say they're 3 or 4 games away from gelling, and I do expect them to be more cohesive in the next week or 2. You should see a different style of Miami Heat basketball.
Fair enough. I did see someone on one of the articles talk about how Jimmy might thrive in a Houston type situation under Aduka. That Correct. Was an interesting one there.
Correct. Yeah.
But yeah, right now leading the team in just 4 games, it's Tyler Hero with 22.2 points a game, averaging 32.5 minutes with a 47% field goal percentage. Jimmy with 6 assists a game, averaging about 17 points a game. And with the highest field goal percentage is Jimmy with 48.8.
Yeah.
You know, again, I agree with you. Again, it's still early. It's still very early. I understand, like you bring it up a little bit, you know, at least with people, with some of the confusion with some Heat fans, like, wait, why aren't we seeing the team we saw in the preseason? Where's the open? Oh, there's the youngest one here. Open the door. Hey, open the door. She's a boss
Wow.
now. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
I gotta teach him my young.
Yeah, you just no, I'm just playing.
Yeah, yes.
We both did this.
Yeah. Just
That's how we learned the backhand.
Of course, man. You don't interrupt anybody on the phone or something talking.
Wow.
You just shut up and you're there.
Yeah. Wow. No, but why? The question being asked. Where's the Heat offense that we saw in the preseason? And I think it was more of for Miami. It's not saying that it won't start to be implemented as the season goes along, but I think it was more of Eric Spoelstra and even Bam Adebayo and company saying, let's explore some of this. Let's kind of experiment in the preseason. Let's see what options we do have, and when we try to play around with, like, Bam, let's expand your game. Let's see if you can actually. But then when it goes, okay, now it's time for the season, we're gonna kind of reel it back and kind of slowly implement it, which is you got to see what the other teams are going to give you. Now, you can't read around. I've told you this. This is my strong belief, and obviously it's going here. I understand. I mean, Tyler looks really good. He usually does. He's on fire right now. He's leading the team in points. For me, I never like when he's leading the team. And when he's leading, when you go, oh, Tyler here was leading scorer. What was the final result?
The problem is this team is built for him to be the leading scorer. That's okay,
but they haven't won with that yet.
It shouldn't be the
problem.
Usage.
They haven't won. It's my thing is what equals winning.
Correct.
And for me, it's just something that I've always noticed and it's something where that's where if you're paying Jimmy this amount of money, you got to get Jimmy involved more. And at Bam Adebayo, you saw what he can do. We know what he can do. He has to stop being so damn passive. It's true.
You saw it. Did you see any games? Did you see any highlights?
I've seen, of course. But
there was one play that you just mentioned about being passive, where he gets a kick and he's in the left wing.
Yep.
He's set up to shoot, and he does a little pump fake, and then he drives. You need to take that shot. That's how the defense is going to commit to you. That's how you're going to open up the lane. You need to take that shot. So
that's something where once Bam opens that up and gets comfortable in his own skin and makes that play. Somebody it was a funny, I forgot what movie that is with Kevin Durant, where they passes the ball to somebody.
Thunderstruck.
Yeah, they said that he did that with his girlfriend, and that's why now he's not who he was.
Wilson.
Yeah.
So it has to be studied. There has to be a correlation there.
There has to be something going on. But again, once I think Bam makes that adjustment and starts to get comfortable in his own skin on the court, we might see a more better. And like you said, yes, of course, I'm all for it. The Heat are not doing very good in rebounds right now. I think they're averaging about 42 rebounds a game, 41.8.
Oh, we're getting demolished on the boards.
Yeah, that's not great. So that's when you start to hear, and I agree. But of course, again, Spo is not that guy.
Yeah.
He's not somebody who's going to throw a rookie in there right away. Yeah. Hawkins is a different beast. Hawkins was a different beast. You saw it right away. I mean, if you looked in the preseason, you could see Spo as much as we love. We love Ware, and we know the potential there. Spo's yelling and going, "What the fuck are you doing? Get over here, get going." Where he didn't have to do that with Hawkins, so he's going to slowly implement where it's going to take some time, but that's going to help the rebounds eventually because of the 7-foot size.
Correct.
Now, again, we've talked about how we feel about the Jimmy trade and what where I think I get your Warriors point, what you were saying about the Warriors, why they may not want to make that type of deal, why you don't see it happening. I get it because again, it's like if they're in the cusp of it and they want to try, and it's not just Jimmy. You could point out any veteran who's going to be moved. I'm just saying that I could see the Warriors making a move like that to say, okay, who can help us make that final push? Now, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak.
Mm-hmm.
He, this has been a conversation. This is something that's been going on for years where you hear his name with Miami. Of course, he signed the extension. Now, I don't know what their schedule is. I know they were the last time I checked, they were losing. Let me see if I could pull them up. But he was the one who stated, "Hey, if I don't get this done, they
might want to trade me.
They may want to trade me." Yeah. And it's kind of like, why would you say that? Who's going to want to trade you? What are you saying? And so I found that I thought that was hilarious. But also, again, here we go again because the Heat are not going to ignore it. The fans are definitely not going to ignore it. Even if the Heat said, in which you got to imagine if the Heat are losing again, even though Pat says, hey, I do believe in this team. We just got to stay healthy. But if the Heat are again in the mid-tier run, or they start, if a Giannis Antetokounmpo is available, you're going to explore that option. Now, do the Heat have the assets to explore that option? That's always a debate. I always say, obviously, every team's fan base, especially Miami, values their players more than the rest of the league.
Correct.
That's just a fact. Okay.
Correct.
So, but hearing this, what do you think the play is here? Obviously, the report already came out that the Heat are one of the teams that Giannis is eyeing. Of course, Damian Lillard had the Heat as this premier destination but of course he went somewhere else. Bradley Beal wanted to go to Miami, but Miami's like, we're not going to touch you. We know Miami tried to play around it. So, and now, of course, Giannis and the Heat are connected because he's on their list. He's on the list for Giannis.
Yeah.
Take your fan hat off.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I want you to be, you're the Bucks.
Yeah.
You're the Milwaukee Bucks. You're not a Heat fan now.
Yeah.
Giannis comes to you and says, man, it's just not working, dude. We got a lot of money onto this roster. It's too old. You've talked about the Bucks. You brought it up before the season. Like, hey, man, the age is going to catch up with them.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So let's say that is the point where you're superstar. You're one of the best players in basketball, right? A superstar, one of the best. He's going to go in the Hall of Fame. Just freaking amazing, right? He's a champion. He won nobody does that anymore. They never do it by themselves anymore. He did it, but he didn't do it by himself. But you know what I mean? He led us. It's like far. Kawhi Leonard. Yes. You know what I mean? He did it. Yeah. It's rare. So he comes to you and says, Alex, hey man, it's just not working. Here are my teams, and Miami's one of them. So you're looking at Miami's roster. Legitimately, is there anybody on that roster?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's Bam, it's Bam. You just got to be, I want you to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Anybody on that roster, you go, okay, I'll do it for this, but I'm not going to do it for that.
Yeah. Well, I'm the Bucks GM.
You're the Bucks. Scenario? I want you. I want you answering as the Bucks.
First of all, out of respect, I know you're not going to give me Bam, but I do have Giannis. So I'll talk to Andy, because Andy's the one that's always on these negotiations. Pat is usually at the end. Pat doesn't really talk to other GMs in that regards. I obviously want a package headline by Bam, but I know realistically you're not going to give me Bam.
What are you asking for? Let's say what you're asking for before you say if they're going to tell you no. What are you asking for from them?
I call and I talk to him. I'm like, look, I understand that Giannis might be available. I want to know, is Bam available? If they tell me no, automatically I'm like, okay, I'm asking for a package of Hero, Jovic, Ware. I'll ask for Hawkins. They're probably not going to give me Hawkins. And then I'm asking for all the picks that they have, because I know at this point, I just need to start a bidding war with another team that he might be destined to. Now, he is my superstar. He did bring a championship to my franchise. As a GM, I value relationships, because teams are built on relationships. And I am trying to get him to the spot that he desires, but I have two things into account. I have a job to do. I have a franchise to take care of. My ass is on the line. And also, I'm going to try not to trade you in-house into my conference. Now, I know I can pull the Golden State card, because Golden State has wanted Giannis. Golden State has a lot of assets too. Kuminga didn't sign. I have pods. You're going to have some salary fillers here and there. And it's not because, it's Miami. I'm more interested. I look around the league, right? And I look at what your assets are. Aside from OKC, which OKC might be an interesting one, or Houston, I like what Miami has in Jovic, in Jaques, in Pele, in where I can build a team around that in my first round picks. And now, if I trade Giannis, automatically the conversation is going to start, or him and Dame a package deal, or I got to move Dame somewhere else. So now I'm breaking that roster up. I'm stripping that roster. I'm completely stripping that roster, And obviously, I'll keep Middleton. I'll try to move Middleton for something to a contender. But the fact that Giannis came out and mentioned that to me, Milwaukee fucked up realistically. And it's insane to say it, but trading for Dame. Why? Because you got rid of Drew, which was your glue. I understand Dame is Dame time. But he's already declined a little bit within the roster that for me to acquire Dame, I need to have the pieces around Giannis and him that he's going to be functional with. Malik Beasley, you don't resign Malik Beasley. Chris Middleton, I have an aging third star. I don't need that. He is a scorer when healthy, but I need depth. Yes, I have Brook Lopez. He's still serviceable, but he's going to get blown by the Celtics, the Magics, the Pacers. I'm in a conference where I need to get younger, and I still have arguably top 3 player, top 5 player in the NBA in the Greek Freak. Kind of, Denver's in this situation. I talked about it during the season. Denver's Jamal Murray's game is aging horribly. He is not going to be a productive player in a year or two. And Jamal Murray was arguably unstoppable against the Heat 2 years ago in the finals. So that's insane how the evolution of basketball got to this point where you always figured Giannis would try to be a one-team player where it's the 20 years in that organization, statue outside. You brought the city a championship for the first time, I think, in 50 years. So your legacy is cemented. Now, remember, him and Bam share an agent. So agents talk to each other. Players talk within their agents. There could be a scenario where he forces his way out of Milwaukee behind closed doors because Giannis doesn't seem to be the type that he's going to form a public dispute, because he does have respect for the organization that believed in him, that drafted him, that brought his family over. So as an organization, as gratitude to Giannis, I will try to work with him, but I do have to retrieve the most talent in return because I need to rebuild a team. I need to rebuild a fan base. Hero's a logical choice because he's a Milwaukee kid. So you're bringing him back home. You can thrive off that. And you're always in a scoring 2 guard. That's great. But I can build my team around that, and with developing, with scouting, I can build a team around that. But realistically, like a lot of players, you're never going to get true value for a Giannis. Okay, that's like if right now Wemby goes to San Antonio, is like, I want to be traded. Like, you're not going to get fair value for players like that. Okay, like you're not. It's impossible because that player is so much more valuable to that team than anything that I can get in return. I could get pieces to build for the future. I could get pieces that I can piece together, but true value you're never going to get back. At that point, you got to get the best deal possible while still working so you can end that relationship on good terms. Total, complete 180 opposite of Cronin with the Dame situation in Portland, that in hindsight, what Portland got, still the best player they got in return was Drew Holiday, and they flipped him. And yeah, they have a young nucleus, but they could have gotten way more for Dame if they would have been smart about it. So you're kind of in that same situation. And Milwaukee can package Dame and Giannis too. So you can even extract more from that. But it takes a hungry team. Are the Lakers going to bite? You know, there's a lot of moving pieces, but it's still early. I still don't return to the fact that I don't know why Milwaukee fired Griffin last year, Adrian Griffin, and they went and hired Doc Rivers. I know they hired a name. But once again, that franchise, I don't know because we don't have any connections to them whatsoever. What was happening with Giannis or Giannis? Was he upset with his coach? I don't know what happened. But that team seemed to be flowing perfectly fine. And they made that move when they were 30-13, and everybody was relatively healthy. And they've been under 500 ever since with Doc because you're changing the system on the fly. So I never understood that. And now you're paying the price. You have the possibility of losing a marquee player, a generational player that you developed, that it was homegrown. You got him when he was 17 years old, and you developed him into a man that he is now. And he built that arena. He built Milwaukee basketball again. So the timing, I'm a little surprised by it. The fact that it was started by Giannis, like you mentioned, I'm a little surprised by it. But I said it could still be early. But I just don't know what avenue Milwaukee has to improve their team with Giannis on the team. Are just like Sixer fans. Hopeless times, they consume lies and delusions.
It's entertaining.
I guess, yeah.
Well, Nance, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man.
What's your team? Who's your team? You know, I'd love to know.
He's
Are
a
you a
Sixers
Boston fan? Probably. Well, either way, thanks for watching. No, I think it's pretty fair what you're saying. The Milwaukee Bucks are 1-4 on the season. Giannis is averaging 30.4 points a game. Dame is averaging 23 points a game and 6 assists average in it.
Think about that, bro. Think about that. They're averaging 30 and 22. Obviously,
20,
Dame's decline.
22 assists a game average. The team is averaging 22 assists a game. And 111 points per game average, 43.4
They just don't defend. They just don't defend. They
But,
don't defend.
So Giannis, obviously, I think Giannis is actually putting like maybe a fire under Milwaukee's butt to say we got to get this going. Obviously, I think he obviously did have a lot to do with Rivers or Griffin being fired. I don't think they fired Griffin without Giannis.
No, without
I just think it backfired. It just backfired, and it was a bad move. It was a very bad move. You know what? I know I'm not going to go in the whole Doc Rivers thing, but it was just wrong. Let me look at this very quick before we move forward. All right, cool. So we'll wait and see. I agree. You know, my thing too with, like you said, they can't expect fair compensation.
No.
I agree with you. If I'm running the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm going to Miami and said, okay, Giannis is listed you as is available for a trade.
Correct.
Obviously, we have his rights. He has the Heat as a potential destination.
Correct.
I'm asking you this because we got Golden State here. So I got to ask you.
Oh, he did mention Brooklyn too, and Brooklyn has a lot of draft picks. So that
if I'm going to Miami, so right there, like you said, it brings up a thing because you got to think. It's easy to say as a Miami guy, you go, "Oh, I'll give you this, this, and this," and it's like, but the other team sees it. So if I'm the Bucks, I'm going, okay, I'm going to give you Giannis, but Bam has to be a part of that deal. Are you willing to part with him on a deal if we start talking about Giannis? And if the Heat say no, then it's a non-starter. That's where I sit on it. Because then it's like, who else? Who? No one's going to equal Giannis. But if I could go to Golden State and get this many draft picks and get this, especially where Steph Curry is probably towards the end of his career, Giannis is not going to be there forever because once Steph Curry steps down, that you're going to get future draft picks. Where Miami, it's always kind of seems in the middle. They're not in a top lottery team, you know. So, but then if you're Miami and you're going to say, okay, I'll give you Bam, you give me Giannis. Now, of course, Giannis is a different beast. Giannis is superstar of superstars, right?
Correct.
But then it's like, okay, if I'm going to give you Bam, I'm not giving you Rare because we need a center.
No, at all.
Right?
If I'm giving you Bam, my assets change. I'm giving you Robinson. We're gonna match salaries and then
we're match salaries.
Picks. Yeah. That's it.
Bam is
if you get Bam, that's it. Like that's your
we gotta have catch. Because I'm not gonna trade for Bam and then not have a roster to compete with.
No,
I need to have I could give up the picks, but I gotta leave something here with Jaquez.
Correct. No, it doesn't make sense. Maybe
with Jimmy, then you bring Jimmy back, and then you have a Jimmy and a Giannis.
That's intriguing because remember, that's one of my only players that I said I would trade Bam for.
Yeah, it is. No, I know, but that's why I asked you though.
Yeah,
I said because I had to challenge you. Say, hey man, okay, so play as the Milwaukee Bucks GM. Yeah, and that's why I say if I'm the GM and I'm I'm a Heat fan, but if I'm the GM, if they're telling me no, Bam's off the table, okay, I'm offering you Giannis. Giannis is available to you. But if you're not going to trade me Bam, there's no one on that roster, Jimmy included, who's equal to Giannis, and not even Bam. But Bam is the closest thing. But if you're not going to include him, it's a non-starter because I could go to Golden State. I could go to Brooklyn. We've seen teams, give up more, So that's the only thing. If I'm the Heat, I'm definitely having that conversation. Nothing against any of the players on my roster. That's Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's the Greek Freak. You have to have that conversation. You're doing a disservice to your fan base and to your team if you don't have that conversation. So we'll see how this plays out. It's very early on. 1-4 on the season for Milwaukee. It's crazy that Giannis was the one who kind of threw it out there. Maybe he's just getting tired. Maybe he doesn't see an end in sight. Doc Rivers is the coach. They fire him. They get a new coach. Now Giannis is with a new coach. And then you got Dame Lillard and company. You're going, okay, I don't see where I'm going to – if they trade these guys, I'm on a rebuilding team. Do I really want to be on a rebuilding team? Or do I want to be that team that's always in the middle that I could possibly put over the hump?
Correct. And now when they made that move for Dame, it was a win or that's it.
Win now or that's it. Yeah.
That's it. Because when you make that move for Dame, number one, you're giving up your perimeter defense and Drew Holiday, the glue guy. You have an aging roster, and you just traded for an aging, disgruntled superstar that he didn't want to go to Milwaukee. He gave Milwaukee as a last resort because they told him he was not going to be traded to Miami. Now, Dame Lillard gets to Miami. We have the system in place for him to be successful because you don't need Dame to carry you anymore. You basically need Dame to be a glorified role player. And understand me, people are not going to understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying Dame is just going to be a role player off the bench. He's going to shoot 4 or 5 threes. No, he's going to score the basketball. But you no longer need Dame, like we no longer need Jimmy if we want to be successful to carry us consistently. That's where you have a Giannis. That's where you have Bam. So those are situations in certain teams that you see the moves, but it's like, oh man, if this doesn't work, that's it. Like they're done. They got to rebuild some way, somehow. And the only way you can rebuild is trading Giannis, which is insane, but it might be a move that they need to make.
I will say for Heat fans, again, they're 2-2 on the season. There's a lot, it's still very early. Don't start doing your jersey swaps yet. Don't start doing your Photoshop. Slow it down.
I love those jersey swaps. Bro.
I do. Just slow down. We still have a long way to go even before the trade deadline. I think as the season goes along, when Hawkins gets in, it starts to get, Rare and Bam starts to get a little more offensive freedom, we might see the Heat start to make another climb up. Obviously, the Heat can't beat themselves, and I think Coach Spo, respectfully, the best, if not arguably the best coach in the NBA, doesn't outcoach himself. Sometimes I think he outsmarts himself.
That's one thing. Sometimes you got to keep simple things simple. And one thing to keep an eye on, Bobby, for next time we talk, and for the rest of the people out there, focus on Bam defensively. He's had a minor slip this season where even against Cat, going one-on-one, he got lit up. And I've never seen that happen. I'm not going to say he's tired because of a long summer, because he's Bam Adebayo. He's in pinpoint shape. I don't think there's anything wrong with him physically, but I do think there might be some wear and tear where he's a little bit exhausted or like a little fatigued in regards to he hasn't really gotten a second win come in season. So I do expect his defense to improve in the coming weeks, even more than his offense. I know it's going to come because Bam is a notoriously slow starter every year. I don't know why it happens, but some players, it happens to some players. They're playing perfectly in the preseason. All of a sudden, the season starts, and you're like, "Dude, where the hell was this guy? Like, why is he think,
So I just think that it was like, okay, let's see if you can actually do it preseason. We could risk this.
Correct.
Let's do it. And then it's kind of like, okay, we're gonna dial it back. Let's go back to what we know. Let's go to know. And I think that's again, it's only 2-2. But I think once
there's
we start to see Bam,
there's some tug.
Somebody needs to get Bam's ear and say, dude, like if it's UD, somebody has to get Bam and say, dude, you need to go. You need to light it up. Take that freaking shot. Start doing it. What do you have to lose? It's still very early on. And hey, you know what? Even though they're only 3-2, Cat looks very comfortable in New York, man. New York, that was a solid move. And New York looks like it's going to be a problem towards the end of the season.
If they're healthy, once again, New York still needs to make 1 or 2 moves because they did lose a lot of interior defense and toughness when they traded Randall and DiVincenzo. They traded a lot of their depth and their toughness. Because they also lost how you say his name, the center Harberstein, 55 that went to OKC. Their center.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
tall white guy.
Big tall white guy. Yeah.
Yeah, like when you lose that in the playoffs, you feel it, and especially with Tibbs. Tibbs, his bench is not deep at all. He has some scoring guards here and there, but I do expect him to make a move before the trade deadline for either a backup big. I know Mitchell Robinson is coming through, but he might be moved. So I do expect them to improve their depth and their toughness. They got to improve their toughness defensively.
All right. And again, guys, everyone who's tuning in right now, wherever you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, we appreciate you watching East Century Boys Straight Out of Hialeah. Late night, Friday night, Alex and myself talking Miami Heat, talking Dolphins, talking everything. We're going to have a little bit of fun here, and we're going to move on to the Dolphins. I don't know why, but we will.
I don't know why. It's just torture at this. I mean, semi-torture.
It's torture, Alex. Let's not BS. Come on, bro. I know you're there now.
It's hard, bro. It's hard.
It is, isn't it? So Dolphins, again, Arizona.
Yeah.
The Cardinals game. I know you haven't had a chance to talk about it, and you can if you
Yes.
want. If not, we
Yes.
can roll. All right. So they go against the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I had predicted a win, but I said I forgot what the score was, but it was in the 20s. I think it was 24-21 because of the averages. I was like, Miami needs to get over 20 points.
Yeah.
Whatever. There again, Miami loses to a bad team. A lot of miscues. No disrespect to Kyler Murray. That dude was moving around the pocket.
Yeah.
He looked really good. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harrison Jr. is a stud.
That dude's the real deal. Like, that dude's a stud 100%. But Miami just continues to beat themselves, even with QB1 back in the pocket.
Correct.
So they fall to 2-5 on the season. And now they're going to go against Buffalo on Sunday. But before we get into Buffalo, Alex, and just the injuries and everything that adds into why they may go 2-6. Before we get into that, the Arizona game, bro, because I haven't heard from you. I was on post game.
Yeah,
I've talked about it on Finn's Faithful podcast with George. Shout out to Finn's Faithful. Like and subscribe. What were your thoughts on that game, man? What the hell happened?
Well, it's crazy because I was encouraged how they started off. Obviously, you felt the energy with Tua. The moment it's insane how this offense has a switch when Tua's clicking and everybody. Tyreek was engaged. Waddle's drops. I don't know at what point it's going to become a concern, but Waddle keeps dropping key passes in key situations. Then he'll make a spectacular play, and people kind of forget about it. But those drops are mounting, and they're mounting up as the years go on. And I'm a little concerned about it in a few years. But I do believe they got to get OBJ more involved. I do believe they got to spread the offense. Julian Hill is going to miss this game, which I'm actually want to see. I understand we jump on Julian Hill a lot. I believe we're going to miss him a little bit in the run block and the blocking scheme, protection. But my number one letdown once again this week was Jalen Wright. He gets 2 carries. He's arguably to me, just the eye test. Like I said, I don't coach football. He is a player that at any given moment, I never see him go backwards. He's always picking up positive yards, kind of like how Mosher was a year or 2 years ago. Jalen Wright makes the right read, has insane control. He switches directions on a dime. He's strong. And yet, when they asked, I forgot what was it they asked that I saw the interview. I think it was a running back coach, Studerville. Oh, okay, it's like, it's a big room. But we're trying to get everybody playing. Tell them, like, my man, this is very simple. You got to play Jalen Wright. That you can be politically correct. And I'm not saying they're going to go out and trade Mozart. I'm not saying that. I do believe when we talk about it, I do believe they're going to trade Wilson. You do have to depth that you're not using. Okay, move them for a piece. That's fine. Late round pick, that's fine. But at this point, you're doing a disservice, especially if you're so innovative. I don't know if Mike McDaniel is in his head or he's trying to play it a little bit more safe. I missed the Mike McDaniel, actually not from the first year, where he just didn't give a shit and he was going to play his style, whether you liked it or not. But granted, I was impressed because his commitment to the run game. I was impressed with Tua coming back, even though he's been symptom-free. It takes a while to get into game speed, no matter how much you practice, which hence the fumbles, the miscues. Once again, turnovers lead us. Even when Tua was out, we had a lot of one-possession games that were our miscues that we put ourselves in our situation. Just the fact that the way we're 2-5, we could have been 5-2, but obviously we don't see that, and the world would have been different. And you're talking about 1 or 2 or 3 plays a game, but you don't lose games on 1 or 2 plays on consistency. I'm encouraged because the defense seemed to improve, even though we lost the game. The defense, to me, improved, and hopefully with continuity, even without Jalen Phillips. Hopefully, is there any news on Bradley Chubb, by the way? Are we going to get Bradley Chubb back? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Well, My Potato said he has an ACL plus injury now, so I don't know. We might not see him at all. That's where I stand.
Okay.
We might not see him at all.
Okay.
So, look, I think this is the first time I've heard you talk a little bit like this, to be honest, with Mike McDaniel, and you sounds like kind of holding him accountable a little bit. You're like, dude, I don't know what the hell's going on with you. What the hell? Because it's obvious that there's something up there in regards of play calling. Like, again, I agree. And I talked about this on postgame. Tua's back. Tyreek was catching balls. He had 70 yards. H and had this, and this. Again, the offense looked like, again, it was back to its old thing. But we got to remember, though, and it's why I told everybody, I said, look, before in pregame, Tua's going to provide a spark. This is why I said they were going to win. I think Tua provides enough of spark for the offense to get back on fire. Team gets excited. We win a game. Maybe, we might lose to Buffalo, but hey, we're going to, we'll win enough where everything seems right in the world. We kind of get back into that 500 range. But eventually, the issues that's been out there for even before Tua got hurt, during Tua's injury and post injury, those issues that have been with the Miami Dolphins are going to continue to be there. Now, Tua coming back might mask them, but eventually they're going to come back up. What I did not account for was that the spark was going to be in the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, and eventually the issues were going to come back up during that game. Yeah, and like you said, I'll talk more about salty Tua and that stupid, what he was saying the other day about the snapping thing with Aaron Brewer. Even though there was a kind of real snap thing going on, I don't think before he got there. Either way, it's the same thing with Connor Williams and company. Connor Williams sucks. Now Aaron Brewer's doing it, so I don't know, common denominator. Either way, Miami can't have those mental mistakes. I don't care what color you have your hair. I don't care how you comb your hair for McDaniel. I don't care what you color your hair for Tua. I don't care how many salty chips you're eating or saying the fans are eating. I don't care about any of that. I care about the wins. And when fans, not the name fan, but a lot of fans that pay a lot of money and spend a lot of time rooting on this football team and cheering you on and having your back, they don't deserve this. The fans, we don't deserve this. And fans have the right to, again, this is what I was talking about tomorrow, but I'll say it again. Say it anyway. You are paid a lot of money to play your best football. There is no excuse for mental errors like that or any kind of mental. There was a lot of mental errors. Drops by Waddle. Again, how the hell does Jalen Wright only get 2 carries? He obviously, again, HN is special. I love HN.
That's fine. HN, yeah.
But he only had 9 carries and he had 6 catches. And they were very, very high producing rush, 70 yards, I think, and then 60 yards, whatever he had receiving.
Which I can live with that.
You could, you stretch him out. Mozart should be your third back. He comes in maybe on red zone plays. You kind of, that way you give these guys kind of a breather. Jalen Wright should be your number 1 lead back. He should be, when HN is spread out, Wright is in the backfield.
Correct.
How that doesn't come into, but now again, we're not coaching. Obviously,
no. It could be a blocking issue. It could be a scheme issue. It could be a lot of things. Know.
They're paid the big bucks, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to McDaniel and company to say, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
What happened here? I would like to see you guys go out there and try to catch it.
Yeah.
You know what?
Well,
you're right.
I'm actually happy he didn't hand it off to Ingold. That fullback handoff. He didn't do it this game. I was actually happy. I'm like, okay, finally, one game. No.
Little things. But when, again, like Tua goes, hey, I want to see some of you guys go out and try to do that. Try to go ahead and try to catch a ball. And, and it was on Brewer. And Brewer made a little bit. And, you guys should do that while you're eating potato chips at home. No, you're right, Tua. You're right. We're not the ones doing it.
It's true.
We're not being paid.
And it is hard.
Millions,
it is hard.
We're being paid millions of dollars to simply catch the ball.
Yeah.
Hike, bam, throw it. Do your, you're being paid that. Even if it's a Brewer thing, I hope that you're working with Brewer. You've had and even then, you had all off season. You had all this. You're a 4-year, 5-year pro. These mental errors should be. There's no way that this Dolphins football team should be 2-5. Because you're right. It's only a couple points here and we could be 5-2.
We're going to be 5-2.
We'd be 5-2 against very bad teams. We should be 5-2.
We should be.
You had a different record. You were undefeated at us. I think you were 5-1.
Yeah. Obviously pre-tour injured, but
that's what I'm saying. Injury. Still,
yeah.
Even with Tua injured, you only
won
one game. You had too much talent on this roster to be where you're at. So I understand fans are like, hey man, sellers, buyers, whatever. cap is the cap issue. You know, Miami's a little tied up right now in regards of money. They need to make moves later whether it's, you know, to free up some money in the offseason. But I can understand fans saying this is a wash. What can we do? Right now, there's not much to do, but, you know, the trade deadline is on Tuesday. I want to ask you two questions. First one is this. Do you see the Dolphins being buyers or sellers? The Dolphins, now that depends on how, for me, if Miami wins on Sunday,
correct,
you could see them probably going for an edge rusher, right? You might see them making a little bit of like a small move, nothing too crazy, in order to be able to try to catch, because now you beat Buffalo, right? If you beat Buffalo, he's the leader. That's the leader in your division. You're saying, hey, we have a chance here. We kind of figure this out. Now, if you lose to Buffalo and you go in 2-6, then the threat of selling comes into play, because then it's like, do we actually have any real chance at that point? Because you got Green Bay and you got Monday, you got prime time coming up. You got
a tough part of your schedule. We still have the easiest schedule. That's going to come into play too. We still have the easiest strength of schedule left in the NFL.
That's what's crazy. What's crazy. This first half of the season should have been like, oh, dude, even with Tua being hurt. That to me, I don't use that as an excuse because again,
that's the part that bothers you.
That's why I don't use it as an excuse, or I don't accept it, because McDaniel and Greer accepted that if Tua went down, we have
they were okay.
Thompson.
Exactly.
And so you went. So that's on you. That's on you. It's not like, oh man, what can we do? Tua is hurt. No. That's a disservice, dude. That you're not doing your job.
Exactly.
And how could Skyler be 3 years in? We talked about this. You brought up a great question a few weeks back. Dude, what happened to Skyler? How did he regress?
How
can he be 3 years in your system?
Yes.
3
years.
He
should know it. He should know it better than he should know it right behind Tua.
Just as Tua. He should be like, oh, I got better than Mike White, better than Tyler Huntley, better than Boyle. He should have been like this. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And you simplify the offense at that point. That's the point when you go, okay, hey, our backup's coming in. Hey, dump it off to Tyreek. Let Tyreek do his job. Tyreek is one of the best players in the NFL.
You have too much talent to and honestly, and don't get me wrong, I understand that even the example of OBJ, and I know they're starting to use Juno Smith more. I'm surprised that OBJ hasn't been targeted, because he has. When you watch the film, he has been open on a lot of. I don't know if that's on Tua with his progressions. I don't know.
Obviously the players have to execute. Player, Tua has to get them the ball. Tua's back. We'll see. Hopefully that translates into on Sunday. Win, lose, or draw. Obviously, if it's a loss, it's going to be heartbreaking either way. But still, you want to see that growth from your team. You want to see these guys get the job done. OBJ is still OBJ, even though he's not the same. I trust that, hey, you know what? He's a veteran. He's been there. He's done that. He could wake up, especially with Tua back there. They haven't played together really yet. They played one game. He dropped the ball last week. Whatever. Jalen Waddle, I don't know what's going on there. It started last year.
Yeah.
Kind of mental errors, drops. I don't know what the hell is going on there. Tyreek, again, players have mental lapse. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like sometimes like, hey man, I'm having an off year at the start.
Yeah.
Eventually, but you got to get him the ball in his hands, however which way possible. If it's short outs, quick outs, down the middle, right down the line. It's easy to get the bomb down the line, but somehow it's not translating. So give him the ball. Allow him to make plays. Same like H-N. That's what you do at H-N. You just get H-N the ball and you say, go. That's what you need to do with Tyreek. Get Tyreek hot. Get him going. Get him fired up. He can do it. He's that good. Tua, the same type of steal. Just make it easy. Let the play. And then as it starts to get hotter and you start to get more in rhythm, that's when you start to open up the playbook.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not McDaniel. I'm not paid those big bucks. We're not, but it's not rocket science. It's pretty, it's like you at the game, you go, how the hell did it doesn't make sense. Let me ask you this. And very quick. Zach Sealer continues to be out.
Yes.
Kader Kohu is out.
Correct.
Julian Hill's out. We don't care about that. Javon Holland is more than likely out, doubtful. So those are major defensive injuries for the Miami Dolphins. Tyreek Hill will play. He's off the injury report. But still, defense, that's huge for defense against a Josh Allen-led offense. I'm just being real in regards of how I truly feel. I know where I'm strongly leaning. I haven't given my official prediction. I'm strong. To me, I can't see Miami winning. I don't know. There's like a very 5%, 10%, whatever you want to do. chance of Miami actually coming out. Could it happen? Of course it could happen. It's a divisional game. You know, Buffalo might see Miami as like, oh, we got this, a W. And all of a sudden Miami smacks them. It could happen. But Miami has not shown me anything this season to say they could beat the Buffalo Bills. They have already lost once, 30-10. And Tua was playing that game until he got kicked, until he got injured and got, walked off the field. Right now, Alex, as it stands, and with especially now that there's more injuries to add to it, and again, I just, he dyed his hair. Last time he did that, he won the championship. Look, man, I'm just being real. I mean, again, I don't know what will change from Friday to Sunday. Right now, I'm leaning towards the loss because I just can't see how Miami does this unless they get this team going on. Can they do it? For sure. Do I see any evidence that they will? No. Where are you leaning on this game, bro?
I've been back and forth, and I think it's going to rely on how we start. And I do want to see first quarter. I want to see the amount of snaps Jalen Wright plays. If he plays an adequate amount, I already see the change of where we're going, and that is going to open up everything. I do think that this has the making of a statement game in-house where everybody's, as a coach, this is a coach's mentality. Everybody's counting you out. Everybody says you're not good enough. And yet you look around in the locker room and you see a shit ton of talent. The O-line is performing once again better than people expected. A lot of people make fun of, I know they want to kill Chris Greer. They want to fire him. I'm one of those that I will accept if a change is needed. I'll accept cleaning house if you need to do it. But the O-line is performing very well. They have the time in the pocket. Tua Spark is back. This, to me, has the making of a statement game where you can take down the number one team in your division and you will only be 2 games out of first place. It's still a long season. You're 7 games in. You got 10 games in. People forget, even with Tua, Miami started the year, 1-7? And then they won 7 straight games or 8 straight games, if I'm not mistaken. It was Flores' second year or the first year? Well, no, it was the second year, right? We were 1-7 and we won 7 straight games to end the season, or we were 3-7 or some shit like that. And we just won out. I'm not comparing that, but I'm saying this could be a statement game and you can turn your whole season around, but everything has to fall in line. Everything has to be, Mike McDaniel has to call a perfect game. Defense has to step up, even while missing. I don't mind sometimes when the defense is missing certain players because it allows players to step up. It allows players to play above their role. And I want to ask you, now that I mentioned that, Jordan Pryor, I'm starting to get pissed off a lot of times when I see Jordan Pryor on the field. I don't know if other fans share this. I'm starting to see why he was let go in Buffalo. And I used to love Jordan Pryor. Mm-hmm. But I see now this year, I'm like, is he a step slow in regards to coverage? And because I know they were doing this the stats on Jalen Ramsey where he's aligned a lot more. His coverage has digressed a little bit. Almost collapsed that season. We lost 10 out. That's true. I just don't know. It has the making of a statement game, but at the same time, it's all on how they come out of the gun.
I think everything you said again is absolutely fair, right? You said, hey, I just have to see how it starts out. Do they start hot? Does Jalen Wright get enough touches? Mike McDaniel has to coach a perfect game from start to finish.
Yes.
Miami started hot last week. They started pretty good.
They started amazing.
How did they finish? How did it go? Did it get, you know what I'm saying? Mike McDaniel at first looks like, hey, you know what? Okay, maybe now we're getting some. We lost to Tannehill, to Tennessee. I get what you're saying, Kat.
Correct.
Miami, everything you said, Miami has kind of looked like, and then all of a sudden it just falls off. Miami has not been able to complete a game. They have not,
which is that much more painful, bro. It's not like we're getting blown out of the water. Like that's the part that drives me insane.
Except against Buffalo in week 2.
Oh yeah,
30-10.
Yeah. But even
that's why
we lost Tua, and we wouldn't have been blown out if Tua doesn't go down.
We were getting blown out before he got there.
No, we were not getting blown out. We were down 14-7 at that time when he got injured, or 17-7.
We were losing that game.
Not by that margin. But you know what's insane? You know what's insane, bro? I still remember.
And sorry, go ahead.
Buffalo we were 1-0 and 7-7 against Buffalo at the beginning of the second quarter. And you fell for that second. You're like, damn, we won a game that we were supposed to lose in the first one. We found the way to win. Now we're going toe-to-toe with Buffalo. There's going to be a shootout. And after that, we're like, shit. We're 1-4, and we're talking about the same mistakes over and over. Now, 1+. Did special teams have any mistakes this past game? Any special team penalties? Any miscues? Or did we improve at least in that area too? Did Crossman save his job for another week? Is that moving in the right direction?
He'll never save his job with the fans. It's the coach.
What does Crossman have on McDaniel that we don't know, bro?
What does Greer have on Ross? We'll never know.
We don't know.
We don't know. But I will say too, because you were bringing up when they lost and then they won and whatever before us.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Who was the coach? There's a guy who could go to your defensive players and your other players. Obviously not Tua, but could go to other players and go, dude, do your damn job. What the hell are you doing? You're better than this. Blah, 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 blah. Get your shit together. Let's go. You have to execute. Because obviously, yes, I think McDaniel's kind of alluded to this too. You go, damn, McDaniel, what's up with your play calling? But it's also like, hey, wait a second. Why aren't the players executing and doing their jobs? It goes both ways, 100%. Correct. But that's when a coach gets in your face and say, hey, dude, you need to do your job.
Accountability.
What are you doing? Yeah, I don't hold you. And that's why you got players like when even Miami was quote unquote tanking and they did and they got to it, blah, blah, blah. They performed better than most people thought after they traded up the farm. Yeah. Because they're, again, I'm not trying to, the floor thing is done. All I'm saying is it's a different style of coaching. And McDaniel, even though, again, kumbaya, I'm your buddy, sometimes you need a coach who's going to get in your face and go, hey, no, Alex, you're playing like shit. Get your thing together, or I'm going to have to go down to the next guy. Next man up, bro. And you know what, Alex, you might go, you know what, even if that hurts your feelings, maybe you're in the wrong profession. Or you should say, you know what, I'm going to show you. And then you have a killer game.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's a winner's mentality.
Absolutely.
But we'll see, man. We'll see.
But I know you said there's some things that have to come to play. We get that.
Yes.
And I know you say, hey, this could be a statement game. It will be if Miami wins it, right? Because then it's like, oh, wait a second. It's not over. Because then you're like, you just beat the top guy in your division, the top team. Again, that's when we talk about the buyer thing where Miami might say, okay, let's make a move for an edge rusher. Let's make a move for this. Maybe we still have a chance. Everybody starts to feel good about themselves because you just beat the lead dog in the AFC East and maybe the lead dog in the AFC next to Kansas City. Mm-hmm. You do that, season is kind of on the life support continues. You don't pull the plug just yet. But all fair. But I'm going to ask you this now in your heart of hearts.
Go ahead. Yes.
Win, lose, or draw.
Win.
Okay.
At Buffalo, we got to score 30+. We have to score 30+.
Okay.
We score 30+, I think we win.
All right. There you go. All right. So we're going to move on. I'm going to hold my final prediction for Sunday.
Yes.
Pregame, but still all fair. Cool. Cap for Life in the house. Great to see you. Finn's Faithful Podcast. I was just talking about you. I didn't even have my comments open. Glad you popped in, brother. George, guys, again, go check him out on Finn's Faithful Pod. Jamila watching too. Good to see. Cap says,
That's great.
22 fumbles since 2022, 13 last season, 3 this season. My point is we cannot turn the ball over this season or we are officially out of the playoff contention. We are certainly at 7% chance, currently at 7% chance of making the playoffs. It's true. Yeah, this is it. If Miami, again, this is a make and break game. And it is already broken.
It's the epitome of like, honestly, with Miami, is the epitome of like, they didn't beat us, we beat ourselves continuously. And you're like, at what point do you stop just beating yourself?
Well, again, I think, I don't have it for
I don't mind getting my ass kicked. I don't mind getting my ass kicked, but I do mind getting fumbling.
So 31-10 against Buffalo, 24-3 against Seattle, 31-12 against Tennessee, a terrible Tennessee football team, one of the worst at football, 16-10, 28-27 against Arizona. Again, the points will go up because the 20 points with Tua, 20 points, 10, and 27. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. You got to get close to that. You know, you got to be over.
You have to.
You got to be close at about 30 points or right there in order to have any kind of shot.
This offense is capable. This offense is capable, averaging
the
30 plus points
on this
a game.
Offense is capable.
Yes.
The talent.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
I get it.
And now
I get your point. I'm not arguing. I get it. I get what you're saying. 34. So let me just go here. The Buffalo Bills 34-20 against Arizona at the start of the season. Crazy that Miami lost 28-27. Buffalo beats them 34-28. They beat Miami 31-10. They destroy Jacksonville, which Miami won 20-10. They destroyed Jacksonville. No, I'm sorry, 20-17. Destroyed Jacksonville 47-10. Lose to Baltimore 35-10. Lose to Houston 23-20. Beat Jets 23-20, and then the blowout, not blowout, but 34-10 Tennessee, 31-10 Seattle. So teams that Miami got their butts kicked and lost and whatever injuries, to a side. Again, I don't use that as an excuse because it was up to them to go into that season with that. Buffalo has won. So it is a tough road ahead. Miami could it get done? Absolutely, because I agree. Miami has the talent to get it done. They do. Tyreek, Waddle, Achen, Wright, Tua. Even with the injuries on defense, you still have the talent to match with Buffalo. But do you not beat yourselves? And the point is, don't get us wrong. Don't get me wrong. Buffalo can beat Miami, no issue. Right? I mean, if Buffalo beats Miami, they beat Buffalo. What I'm saying is it's the mental errors where now you're playing behind. Now you've fallen behind, and now you're dead in the water. So it's a tough task because you got Buffalo this week, which it could be an L, right? And then you're 2-6. No, 2-5. No, 2-6. Then you got the Los Angeles Rams on primetime Monday Night Football. That's Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. And that's on primetime, which Miami does not do well in. That's possibly 2-7. Got Raiders, Patriots. Those are more likely wins. Right? You
should win.
Then you got the Packers on primetime.
Yeah.
That's another one where you're like, oh, okay, that's a tough pill. Especially when Miami's been playing. You go, okay, that's a tough game. Again, you could say with the talent on our roster, we could win that game. And you could win any game, any given Sunday. But prime time, Green Bay, 2-8.
Bro,
the Jets, again, I've said splitting the series could still happen. It's a tough road. If Miami could somehow, some way get out of this, that would be huge,
if they could pull off Buffalo and the Rams, and you're going at 4-5 and you're playing Raiders and Patriots, you have a legit shot at being 6-5, which is insane.
Right here. I get this point, and I sympathize with that because I kind of agree with that.
If we get to that point at 6-5, Bobby, if we get to the point at 6-5, we're playing the Packers, and Tua and everybody is clicking. We are the complete opposite of what we were the past years, where our Dolphins collapse going into December. Now you're the hottest team in football going into December. Can you run that, and can you continue? Can you just roll the schedule and just win out? Which would be absolutely insane. It would be absolutely insane if we end up 12-5. Absolutely. Okay, that scenario, because you just painted the dire situation. We're 2-8. What happens if we're 6-5 going against the Packers Monday Night Football? Do we lose again this season?
If we beat the Packers?
We're 6-5 going into the Packers Monday Night Football. We're on a 4-game winning streak, and our offense is clicking 30 points a game. We're beating teams double digits. Blah, 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 blah. Do you feel that we lose another game this year?
What has history told us with this Miami Dolphins run football team? How do they do in December?
No. I just told you that. We reversed it.
But you got to go.
We've reversed it.
With history. How does the Dolphins do?
That would be December. We just on a 4-game winning streak going into December, and we just collapsed in the beginning of the season. We're reversing history.
I love you. That's hope.
We're reversing history, man. 12-5. Called it here. 12-5. We ain't losing again.
Alex.
We're gonna be at least 6-5 going against some.
What do you say? Okay. Next Wednesday night.
Yes.
Let's say Miami, Buffalo beats Miami. We're 2-6. Where do you go? What do you say that day?
Oh no, I'm just fucked. Everything just went to shit. I just fucked.
It's over.
Just ride the wave for me a little bit, bro. Ride the wave for me.
I get what
just
you're
a little
saying.
Wave,
I
a
get
little
it.
wave.
But this is what I'm saying right here. But no, this is why I don't like what you're
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
because it would be so Dolphins for Miami to beat Buffalo, get on a run, they lift up your spirits, they fall flat at the end of the year, maybe you know, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, no, now we're gonna keep Graham McDaniel because we had that stretch. They've shown what they can do. That's where it's like, you know, I would rather like you play to your talent level, you're winning out, you're doing great. I don't ever want to see them lose, but it's like, don't do that. Don't fill me with hope and then kill it at the end of the year. That's my problem. Because you're like, oh, what if we go into Buffalo? We're 6-5. Oh, dude, then what does it happen? It's like, okay, let's play the Hopian game. What has Miami shown though at the end of the season? They fall off.
Yeah, we've shown they fall off, but I'm predicting this year will be different.
Yeah,
and we are going.
You are smoking the hopium, and I love you for it.
We are going 12-5.
When it comes to
Super Bowl.
the W, this is Alex's way of being the reverse Debbie Downer. I just said he was the Debbie Downer at the beginning. Now it's reversed because now he's like, oh, no, bro. Trust me, it's going to get better. Yeah, it's going to get better, bro. Just watch, bro. Even though everything else says it's bad, it's been bad. Nothing has worked.
It's like Dick Fun with Dick and Jane when they hire him, he promotes and the crash is going.
It's like, no way, bro. No, just like it's even though it looks like this, it's gonna get better, bro.
Don't worry about it. The foundation is fine.
2 weeks in, it's like, Alex, it's still like crap. No, bro, but trust me, bro.
I'm losing money, bro. I'm losing money.
My investments are bad. All right.
Oh man.
Let's roll out, man. We're not wrap this up yet. We got.
Hold on. I gotta ask you a question. Trade deadline. You mentioned it to me. What do you think are the Dolphins' moves? Because you asked me, what do you think is gonna happen with the Jeff Wilsons, with OBJ, anybody on the defense? What do you think is gonna happen?
Oh man, again, like I had said, if they beat Buffalo, I could see Miami being a buyer in regards of trying to maybe get an edge rusher because Bradley Chubb's going to be out throughout the season. Do you possibly go with safety because the injuries back there? Javon Holland, he's on a contract year. Jordan Poyer, as you said, has been struggling a little bit. Do you go that route? If I can see Miami being a buyer if they beat Buffalo, and I'm not saying crazy buying, I'm saying be a buyer. Yeah. Now,
reasonable buyer.
Now, if they lose against Buffalo, in all sense of the world, at that point, it's over, right? You're like, okay, because even though you might go on a run, it's going to be tough because you're not going to win every game out, you know, in a realistic world. So at that point, I could see us becoming a seller, but not to the point where people are like, oh, you're going to trade Tyreek to Kansas City.
You're not going to trade. No.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
They won't trade their core talent. They're not going to trade.
Well, it's not that. It's not about even trading the core talent. First of all, you're then admitting that you effed up. Correct. At that point, Greer's saying, hey, I screwed up. I signed all these guys to brand new extensions before the season, and we're not doing it. Could it happen at the end of the season? Absolutely. I think then you were talking because even though you go about the cap situation, man, we're kind of stuck. Really, cap to me is a fairy tale. There's no
cap.
Yeah. At this point of the season, I don't see where Miami's trading all their guys away because I see Miami saying, hey, look, we're not going to do that right now. Now, Jeff Wilson, I could see possibly being moved. You know, one of these offensive players, like, you know, I know you brought up OBJ. I'd be shocked, but I wouldn't be too because River Craycraft is almost on his way back.
That's when you go, forgot. Hey, thank God that you mentioned that. Craycraft is back. I can't wait for Craycraft to be back.
Yeah. So then it might say where, you know, Miami says, okay, hey, you know what? I think because no matter what, even if the fans feel, or maybe even the players at certain point, the players and the coaching staff's not going to say, hey, we're going to lose. We're done. No, they're going to still try to figure out how to manipulate and see how they could win. Because then you're 2-6, and then they might think like you, Alex, where they go, we can still go 11-6, or we go 10-6, or even finish the season at 9-8, or you know what I mean? 10-7. So 10-7. So Miami could say, okay, if we lose a Buffalo, okay, what can we sell to make this team better to try to get to that 9-10 win season rather than a 14-13-12 type win. So that's what I see. Beat Buffalo, buyer, probably moving, trying to get an edge rusher, maybe selling off a part here just to kind of make room for guys coming in. Sellers, if you're not in the seller in the type of way of we're going to go trading
Tyreek,
everybody. Mozart. No, but seller in regards of, okay, maybe an OBJ, maybe a safety, maybe another offensive player, a Mozart or Wilson or whatever. Even though I think Mozart obviously is very close with the team in regards to players and coaching staff, but that's when it comes into play. That's when I could see it happening, especially on those contracts. Those are the easier contract moves. End of season, if the Dolphins lose out, then I could see selling the team, breaking it up, going, okay, what can we do to get this? Because it depends. If let's say Miami, Alex, unlike what you're saying, Miami's 2-5, could be 2-6 on Sunday, could be 2-7 by Monday Night Football because they don't win on prime time. Not saying that could be, but let's say 2-7. Let's say Miami finishes with only 4 wins on the season, right? God willing, right? I mean, or not God willing, they win out, like you say.
Like, whoa.
No, not God willing. But let's say they finish the season on 4 wins, 3 wins, 2 wins, whatever. Does Stephen Ross actually come back with Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel on this as the leaders of the clubhouse? To me, if I'm owning this football team, and I know everyone says Clowney's name, that's interesting. Jadeveon Clowney,
Jadeveon Clowney. Name. That's an option.
But if Miami finishes anything above 500, if they finish under 500, especially anything those under 2, 3, 4, 5 wins, you got to clean house, because you've been saying it all this whole show. I've been saying it for all season. The Dolphins are too goddamn talented to be where they are right now. And if you're gonna finish the season 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins, and you were a playoff contender, you went to the playoffs last year. People are saying Super Bowl this year. Tyreek was voted the number 1 offensive player, the number 1 player in the NFL. You signed Tua to a massive extension. You signed McDaniel to an offensive extension. You signed Tyreek and Waddle, big extensions, and you finish like this. That's like that's a fail. That's beyond failure at that point. So that's when I say when I talk about selling at that point. When you go, okay, new GM comes in, he says, okay, hey, you know what? Even though Waddle, let's reconstruct Tyreek's deal, but we can move him to this team here. We get some draft capital. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's not saying that's gonna happen, but that's where I think that comes.
No, I get you. You know, it will be a telling thing if that were to happen this offseason. If you see McDaniel give up play calling at any point later in the season, if it continues to derail, usually a coach, whenever he does that, that's a sign of there's inner turmoil in regards to play call and all that. That could be to a massive change. And obviously, who becomes available? Do you pursue Belichick? There's a lot of situations that come into play.
And I know because I know a lot
availability.
I know a lot of people will say, and they always, every year that we do the same thing with the quarterback situation. Oh, we'll move on for the quarterback. And then people go, well, then who's available? Who are you going to get? Look, we can't play that game right now. We got to wait till the end of the season because we don't know how that's going to play out. We know who our quarterback is right now. We know who our coach is right now. We know who our GM is right now. Now, again, all I'm saying is you finish, first of all, you're already at a point where it's like, this is way below expectations. Unless you do what Alex is saying, hopium wise. Hey, we win out and everything. Of course, then it's like, hey, you know what? We figured it out. Blah, 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 blah. All is right in the world. Realistically,
Super Bowl champs, baby. Super Bowl champs.
Realistically, though, even if you win a handful of games, and let's say you just missed the playoffs, that's a failure. There is no way you finish this way. Absolutely. So that's all I'm saying. But if you go 2, 3, 4 wins, 5 wins on the season, 6 wins, whatever, there's considerable changes coming to Miami or should be coming to Miami to the Dolphins. Sure. But wait and see. Again, they're only 2-5. Still got a long season to go. But everyone who's disappointed and calling for change and banging the table and pissed off, I 100% get it. I get it. I hear you. I'm with you with the disappointment. We just got to let it ride out. It's just what it is. And again, when you talk about possible changes, who there, when, what, you say Belichick, you say, look, I've heard Belichick. Again, I have a bias thing in regard to it. Like as a coach, hell no. No. I'm not giving an opportunity to beat Shula. But as an executive, I might be down with that. Again, my option until, I look at other options would be Mike Vrabel. Vrabel would be the guy I would chase at that point. If that was come to place. But again, we won't talk about that till later in the year. We could hint at it, or say it, but we're not going to push for it till the end of the year. Can't look. It's people who can't wink.
Shit. Shit.
The fuck is
Which
that?
is insane. If you can't wink, I think you have like some. You need
Well,
to be checked.
Can you do
There's-
both eyes or just one eye?
What do you mean? Can I do both eyes? Just
Can you do,
winking both eyes?
Yeah.
Oh
I see
yeah.
people do both eyes. I can't do it. I can't do it. Well, maybe I know I can't.
I've always wondered.
Can you? This is something that's weird facts now. So right? Can you close it?
I can't do my left. I can't do my left hand. That.
I can't do it either. Look, but I can do this,
my
but I
right
can't
hand.
close it. I have to go like this in order to close it. But if I go up, I'll see it. I don't know why that is. No. With our look, it will be 1 year with only 2 cameras available. And we'll see. So let's get out of. Let's move out of Miami. Let's have some fun here before we wrap this up.
Let's
We're
roll.
gonna do random questions, but I thought we'd do some random facts.
That's even better.
Yeah. So the first one here, I thought it'd be different. Try something different. Try something fun. Your brain is constantly eating itself. This is from BBB Science Focus. This process is called, I can't even say this word. I'm not even going to try. So sorry, can't do it. Where cells envelop and consume smaller cells or molecules to remove them from the system. Don't worry. I guess it's going to say it again. So phagocytis, I'm butchering that, Alex, isn't harmful, but actually helps preserve your gray matter.
Healthy,
that sounds kind of crazy, though. Your brain is constantly eating itself.
Yeah, well, it's eliminating. It's eliminating all the bad apples, basically.
Let's see. The universe's average color is called cosmic latte. And in a 2002 study,
I just had that at Starbucks.
I'm saying that sounded like a drink. In a 2002 study, astronomers found that the light coming from the galaxies averaged into a beige color that's close to white. So not white, but beige.
Beige.
So this one here. Animals can experience time differently from humans. To smaller animals, the world around them moves more slowly compared to humans. Salamanders and lizards, for example, experience time more slowly than cats and dogs. This is because the perception of time depends on how quickly the brain can process incoming information. That's interesting. Ain't that cool?
Yeah. Does it have something to do with them being reptiles?
I don't know. But no, because of the size. They say because if you're smaller than the animal, their time of perception is slower, or perception of time. I always find it funny how dogs and cats, that every year is like 7 years. It adds up 7 years.
Yeah, because of the duration of their body. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
A fact. I'm skipping facts here because I just, there's other ones where it's like, water may not be wet. That's
what?
This is because most scientists define wetness as a liquid's ability to maintain contact with a solid surface, meaning that water itself is not wet, but can make other objects wet.
I got you. Okay.
Okay.
It's its own.
Like,
it's its
that's
own. Yeah,
stupid.
I got it.
That's
fine,
stupid.
That's a technicality there. Like,
you're going to Harvard for that, scientist boy. That's a stupid. You're not a scientist. You're a jackass.
Scientist. No, but I get it because water is
Alex,
water.
Stop it.
Water is
Alex.
water. Yes.
Alex is gonna play nice.
It's a pool full of water, not a pool full of wet. I mean, a pool full of wet is not just. I'm just not gonna go. Not gonna go there. What?
ABCD. I absolutely. That makes. Of course, it does for you. A chicken once lived for 18 months without its head. Mike the chicken's incredible feat was recorded back in the 1940s in the USA. He survived as his jugular vein and most of his brainstem were left mostly intact, ensuring that just enough brain function remained for survival. In the majority of cases, a headless chicken dies in a matter of minutes. That's kind of crazy. 1 year and some odd months.
Yeah, because they don't. That's insane, man. Wait, that's like us.
How did it doesn't eat? Well, when you think of medieval times with decapitations, they've talked about that.
Yeah.
Where they studied that, where somebody thought, I don't remember the exact details, but they said like, oh, I think people still, because they remember some grimaces
Yes.
or the face
Yeah.
going like this, and they go, I
Yeah.
think people are still aware. So what they
Yeah.
did was, when somebody got their chopped off and they pulled the hair, they wanted to see, and the girl, the woman who was gave him like a mean look, like out, like,
Yeah.
So that's always kind of crazy that
It's
it still
sensory. It
kind of
takes time.
works,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
It
you're
takes
you're
time
because your
to.
brain is still living. It of course it's only
Correct.
a couple seconds,
Correct.
but you're kind of like,
Correct.
can you imagine, like,
And,
what do you feel at
and
that point? Are you afraid? Are
that's
you like,
insane. And they say that hearing is the last thing you lose. Like,
yeah.
because imagine like a shutdown. Like something shuts down, but it takes time for it to fully be unfunctional. So it's like your body is divided into like compartments. So it's like this shuts down, this shuts down, then this shuts down, this shuts down, and then that must be agonizing if you can hear and you can't find a way to express it because your body doesn't. Kind of like, when you're in this dream that you feel like you try to get up and you try to get up, but you're sending the message to your body, but you're not getting up, or like something bad's about to happen and you can't stop it.
Let
And
me
you're
tell
like,
you. So that's called
like dream paralysis or something.
Yes, it's called sleep paralysis.
Holy
And
shit.
I've had it before. I actually had it today. I felt it.
Oh,
Not gonna lie to
shit.
you, because I didn't get no sleep last night. I was, my stomach sick to my stomach. So my wife was working. Tati, for people that want to, I just say Tati to Alex, but Tati was working. So I said, I'm gonna go in the other room. I'll go sleep, lay down in Tristan's room, try to get some sleep. And I was sleeping on my back, and I felt like a pressure.
That's
feel
crazy,
like a pressure.
man.
Like, I felt a legit pressure, and it was uncomfortable, but I was trying to get myself up, and
you can't. And you can't.
Twice. And that's when I went like that, kind of jute myself.
Yeah.
But it sucks. It's called sleep paralysis.
It's like you're dead alive. You're dead alive, bro.
I've had it about it's the worst feeling. It's the worst feeling. And anyway, but no, I've heard I know they've done that before, because I love reading medieval times, King Henry, Queen Anne, all these people, Catherine and all them, Elizabeth, and they talked about that, where I forgot what it was, but when they lifted the head up, because they always did that to show that they would see the grimace or whatever, and they go, oh wait, so they tried it, and I think they flicked or they did something, and they could see the person, like the face, the girl looked at him, like their eyes looked.
Wow.
It's like, can you imagine? I was like,
yeah,
that's
crazy.
horrible. Wearing a tie can reduce blood flow to the brain by 7.5%.
Correct.
A study in 2018 found that wearing a necktie can reduce the blood flow to your brain for 7.5%, which can make you feel dizzy, nauseous, and cause headaches. They can also increase the pressure in your eyes if on too tight, and are great at carrying germs. So I never knew that. I've never had a tie. I never felt any pressure, because I don't tie it so much. Whoever's doing that, that's like that's like, strangle me. Like, what? What?
Me.
Just a little tighter. What are you talking about? That's crazy. The world's oldest dog lived to be 29 and a half years old, while the average age for a dog reaches about 10 to 15 years. And it was an Australian dog called Bluey, 29 and a half years old. So how old would that dog be?
Now he has a sitcom. It'll be 150 something, right? Or 100.
206.
Holy shit.
206. How tight does it have to be?
Oh.
I don't know. Why are you asking? I'm not doing it. I don't know why she's asking. I know.
Yeah.
The sun makes a sound, but we can't hear it. It's interesting. In the form of pressure waves, the sun does make a sound.
Well, it has to like constant eruptions.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's no sound in space, so it kind of makes. Let me see. This one's gonna cause. Some. Hopefully, not too much though. NASA genuinely faked part of the moon landing. While Neil Armstrong's, because this is a very controversial thing for people. Some people believe it's totally fake.
Yeah.
Film, there's other people
the wind, the flag.
Well, there's other people. So while Neil Armstrong's first steps on the lunar surface were categorically not faked, the astronaut quarantine protocol when the astronauts arrived back on Earth was largely just one big show. So probably say, oh, you can't talk to them right now. Or you're not allowed to see them.
Yeah, of course.
Comets smell like rotten eggs. Did you hear about that meteor or the asteroid that flew by the Earth?
No.
Did you see the pictures of that at all?
No.
You didn't hear anything about that?
No, bro, I'm telling
Wow.
you, I haven't been
It was going on for a whole week.
Oh shit!
It was the Earth's second moon, and I tried to catch. I saw pictures of it,
man.
and I tried finding it because but I couldn't see it. Everybody else saw it. Some people saw it in my town. It was an asteroid or a comet or a meteor. It was an asteroid. I think it was an asteroid. Either way, it doesn't matter. It was like 29 million miles away from us, but still, it was the second moon, so you saw it I went hunting for that thing. I tried to find it. I couldn't see. You can see the tail and everything.
Wow, man!
I kept pictures.
I've been in so many meetings these past 2 weeks and all that I have been disconnected from the world, so I have no idea. I didn't even know there was an election this week. I'm just kidding.
Hey.
Anywhere you go.
Yeah. Let me see. Let's see if I could find it very quick. I thought I saved pictures of it on my phone. I know I did. Oh, nope, that's not it. Give me a moment, people. And maybe not. Anyway, don't matter. Anyway, it was pretty cool. Couldn't find it. No, I couldn't. Okay, I'm gonna go with this. Let me make sure. All right, this is gonna be the last one. Oh no, I got two.
Fire away.
First one, you can actually die laughing. A number of people have typically, due to intense laughter, causing
cardiac arrest.
They have died. A number of people have died typically due to intense laughter causing a heart attack or suffocation. Comedy shows should come with a warning. That's interesting.
That's true.
I can laugh and I won't stop, because it's
and then you just stop breathing. And then you stop breathing.
It's funny, right, bro?
It's legit, yeah.
Hey.
Yo,
last one. I just see the header here. I haven't read it, so I'm gonna read it right now. Chainsaws were first invented for childbirth.
Chainsaws?
It was
for the umbilical cord?
It was developed in Scotland in the late 18th century to help aid and speed up the process of widening the pubic cartilage and the removal of disease-laden bone during childbirth. It wasn't until the start of the 20th century that we started using chainsaws for wood chopping.
That is insane. Did you realize what you just read?
Yes, that is. You're good. Good day. Thank you. That's freaking horrible.
Jesus Christ.
Horrible.
Wow.
It's about 11:22 Eastern time. Let me make sure we're not missing anything. Looks like it's all good here. But anyway, we got about 50 people watching live. We appreciate you all tuning in to East Century Boys straight out of Hialeah late night on Friday night here. Alex, before I say wrapping it up, is there anything on your mind, bro? Anything you want to get off your chest before we wrap this up?
I just hope for a successful sports weekend. I know Duke is coming back into town. Manny Diaz is coming back into town, with Duke. UM is the talk of the town, and we've seen the tide turn in the state of Miami, the state of Florida, and all is right in the world when UM is relevant again and among the national powerhouse. And I'm excited for that. To all my Heat followers, relax. Don't worry. I know it looks a little dim right now, but we will survive. And Dolphins, undefeated the rest of the way, Super Bowl champs. You heard it here first at Finstall Sports Network. All
right, guys. We appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget, tomorrow noon, we'll have Finns Talk Today. Me and Fish Tank Hank. We'll talk about the Miami Dolphins game and Salty Tua. And then tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, me and Josh Kimmel will be on live for the we'll talk about Crown Jewel, but we'll also we do a fun episode. We're going to do a Legends draft. So
nice.
Yeah, so I'll be representing Nitro. He'll represent Dynamite, which is AEW brand. And then all you got, of course, the legends of wrestling, and you got modern day legends. You got 30 picks, and we're going to make those 30 picks live on the show. And with those 30 picks on a future episode, we'll make a fantasy card, and you'll let us know, hey, who had the better draft and who had the better card. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. Don't forget to tune in. Of course, Sunday, pregame, postgame, pregame at 11 o'clock a.m. and then postgame 8 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday night. That's AJ Atia, Alex Atia Chisca, I'm Bobby Melendez. We appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, most importantly for Dolphin fans. Fins up, chins up. We'll figure it out, hopefully. And eat culture. Hopefully. Appreciate y'all.
Good night.
Right. Good night.
Bobby L. Gringos in the house. Straight out of Hialeah, no doubt. East 10th Street, but we play out. Here we bring the Miami crowd.